Yep, I'm gonna start another 5 hours underneath of the car. It is very hot out here, so I got this fan just blowing on me, so I apologize if we've got wind noise sounding like a freaking hurricane. So my very next step here is to get the transmission mount situated. I do have to jack the transmission up some, and then I have to figure out what to do with the mount. Now I'm gonna make a custom one, and I do have the stock one and stuff here. I am going to probably end up using this bracket that'll go on the back side of the transmission. This is just a factory deal. So it mounts back here on these 4 bolts, and then there's a mount that's on the bottom of it. I also have my stock mount. This is from an R154 that I had a long time ago. Probably gonna end up cutting this up and then modifying it, since I do have the actual mounting points for underneath the car. So once we get under there and I figure out exactly where I'm going to position this stuff at, we should be able to have something like actually situated here. So I'm devising up a way to get this all situated here, and I am going to use this energy suspension mount as well as R154 mount. I already cut it some. I'm going to use this angle iron. So this, I'm just not going to use this at all, but I did trace out the design of this because I'm going to cut this out, poke the holes, and then this will mount on the back of the transmission, and then I can just weld the angle iron to it, poke holes in the angle iron for the energy suspension mount to actually mount to that, and then I can mount the R154 cross member to that mount. So I just got to cut this out, which shouldn't be that bad, but cut this out, and then hopefully it just, you know, is pretty straightforward. Hopefully I can knock this right out. God, I hope it's not a nightmare. It might be a nightmare. This took way too long, but I do have it. I got to take it back off and paint it and open up a hole just a little bit. I got the mount completely modified. Obviously it's nowhere near the way it used to be, but I got this angle iron here, which I'm going to take off the sharp edges to make it nice. We're going to paint it, but it's separated from the transmission. That plate and everything worked really good, and I got this energy suspension bushing here, so that way everything should be good. Now we're gonna just lower the jack real quick, and we're just gonna check to see how this reacts. And it's perfect. It's exactly what I wanted. I wanted it to be able to settle. So now the transmission is no longer touching the tunnel. We have a nice support. Nice mount that did not cost me $2,000, because that's how much these mounts cost if you want to get one. But there it is. Holy crap, she's freaking on there. Hell yeah, dude. So I'm gonna take it back off and get it painted. Man, this took a long time. It was like 5 hours of work. I ordered this 1 p.m. on Tuesday. They finished building it and shipped it Wednesday morning at like 7, and it is now Thursday, and I have it. That is the most incredible customer service I have ever experienced out of anything that's a fabrication style shop. That is incredible. Absolutely recommend them. It's Shaftmasters, I believe, Michigan or Illinois. It came from Illinois. It looked like a UPS, but it seems like a Shaftmasters is located in Michigan. But this is incredible. I've never experienced something this crazy. Like, this is actually insane, where I thought it was going to be like a week or longer that I was going to get the car back. But it's actually turned out to be this weekend, which is crazy. So there's going to be multiple videos I'm going to try to put out here, so make sure you guys are following along. We're going to get the drive shaft in, I'm going to wire up Turbolamik, and then we're going to get everything, I'm going to try to, we're going to get all the mechanical stuff ironed out, and then I'll do separate videos on, like, connecting the Turbolamik, and then try to get everything, like, situated, alright? I don't have fluids in the transmission yet. I want to get the fluids in there, but I want to power on Turbolamik to see if I can get signals to all the solenoids and everything inside the transmission and make sure, like, the PCB board and everything is good. I did do continuity testing on all of the contact patches, the contact spots on the PCB that go through that go to the Turbolamik, that go through the freaking valve body and everything. So everything seemed to check out good. There's zero reason why it shouldn't work, and we are just so close I can taste it. I got these 8 ORB push lock fittings since my lines right here are a hydraulic hose and it is easier for a push lock. The fitting style on the side of the gearbox here, that where your cooler lines go, it is an 8 ORB, so that means that it is it's like a, what is it, 5/8 NPT. It's like a 5/8 thread, and it's got an O-ring on it. So it's 8 ORB. ORB stands for O-ring boss. So these guys, and it is just freaking lovely that this just works. So even after all of my shenanigans here, these just fit perfectly. Well, it's in there. Everything's all tightened down. The drive shaft is all good. I got my fittings on the side of the gearbox, so we're ready to fill it. If you're trying to fill it the regular way through the fill port hole on the side of the gearbox, it doesn't allow you to put more than 3 liters in at a time. You put in that much and then you gotta wait for it to kind of like fall into the gearbox. But if you use the top port on the cooler hose fitting, then you can actually fill the entire gearbox. We're done with that now, so next it is actually time to move on to the Turbolamik stuff, and I have fully decided that I'm going to be mounting the TCU up here with the ECU. We got the TCU, Turbolamik. This is the main header connector that connects to the TCU. There will be a lot of different things that's going into this. It looks like there's really not that many pins. Let's go ahead. We'll start off with the shielded connectors that are already wired up and ready to go. There will be 3 of them. So you'll notice that you'll have a blue connector. This is actually a direct plug and play to the factory BMW shifter, which is that little short guy. I'll post a little picture of it, but it's a little short guy that has the drive mode, reverse mode, neutral, and then it moves over, goes to sport mode, and has the upshift and downshift. This plugs directly into that, and it immediately works. So if you wanted to have the most plug-and-play way to make this work, you'll get the TCU, you'll hook it all up, wire it all together, run the CAN connector, run the CAN wires to the ECU and stuff. You'll plug this directly into your shifter, and then the shifter will completely work. It'll do as it's supposed to. The other 2 connectors, with the Turbolamik kit, this knob here controls the shift mode, so you'll have P1 through P8. P1 is just like a nice cruise drive mode, it's automatic, and then at the opposite end of the spectrum, P8 is a full race manual mode, so it'll take you all the way to limiter, it'll let you downshift and everything, and hold you in gear, and yeah, this other one here is a little LCD screen. This actually tells you all your TCU codes and your shift mode and also what gear you're in, stuff like that. The little ones, they plug directly in to the back of these, the 3-pin and the 4-pin, and then those will immediately work and they will send data, receive data, and everything from the Turbolamik. Now that these connectors here, these are out of the way, we will look at the wiring here. The wiring is pretty straightforward. At the ground, those 2 black wires both go to ground. The red wire, that's the bigger one, goes to battery 12-volt constant. The little red wire is battery ignition, which is a switch, which is coming off the key. Whatever you want to do, you can have a relay or whatever you want to do. You got the CAN L and CAN H, the orange and brown, and the orange and black. They are twisted together, at least they were on my harness. But if you look very, very closely, the orange one has a little brown stripe, and the other orange one has a little black stripe. So now you got these optional ones. Now mine did not have the handbrake, the paddle 2 mux, the fan relay, the VSS out, or the neutral signal. So I will go over the ones that I have. We got the orange one, which is the foot brake signal. What I did is I ran it to one of the wires on my brake switch that goes on my brake pedal. What you're going to do is basically stick the end of the wire into one pin or the other pin and push the brake which is turning on your brake lights, and make sure that the software is showing 1 or 0. If it's switching between 1 and 0, you found the right pin. Do not wire it into the wrong pin, because then it just won't work. It'll always say that your brake pedal is active. The paddle up, which is white and red, that makes you go upshift. That I wired directly to my upshift wire on my shifter. So I've got a little shifter here. And the paddle down is the opposite. It goes to the other wire and it goes downshift. The brown wire, the sensor ground. Now this is one I was confusing myself with because I was just overthinking it. This is literally a noiseless ground that is for sensors. So that way, whatever sensor you're running to this, example, the ground wire that is on your shifter, the shifter or your paddle shifters or whatever you're going to be doing, you absolutely do not want any weird noises, no signals or weird noise coming through that ground. So what I did is I wired the ground wire that is for the paddle shifters and the shifter to the sensor ground wire. If you have any sensors that you're adding to the transmission, or you want the transmission control unit to tune or control the Turbolamik, you want to make sure that you have the sensor grounded out to the actual sensor. Now, this is completely not a thing, but if you hypothetically somehow had a cam sensor connected to the output shaft on your transmission, you're going to have one side, the sensor ground portion of that cam sensor has to go to the sensor ground wire on the Turbolamik. Now, yes, it could work if you were to ground out whatever ground you're going to be grounding to the chassis ground, but there is a chance of noise, and that could cause a crazy... If you want to have random upshifts or downshifts, I mean, that's what we're talking about. So the sensor ground, if you're not connecting anything to it, don't worry about it, just leave it be. But if you have paddle shifters or a shifter, sequential shifter like I do, you will ground out the ground to that sensor ground wire, and then it will have a noiseless, clean ground to go off of. Now you got the VSS out. I did not have that one. I had the reverse light, which obviously that just goes to your reverse light, so if you put it in reverse, your lights turn on. So that's a very easy comprehension going over this pinout here. I just wanted to be very, very clear. The sensor ground is not what you think it is. Just think of this, think of the TCU like the ECU. So you're setting up your wiring. You obviously don't take your sensor ground on your ECU and ground that out to your chassis. You're not going to do that with your TCU either. So just be mindful, and I hope you guys are watching this video all the way through because, yeah, I'm trying to be very, very helpful when it comes to this. There's not a lot of information, and this is still relatively new in the transferring to random cars. It's not like putting a T56 in every single thing or putting a TH400 in everything. So there we go, guys. I'm in this video off, giving a more detailed way I did this. So yeah, we are freaking solid. I hope this freaking video helped you guys, and yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed all the freaking crazy stuff. There was so much stuff in this video, but yeah, I will catch you guys in the next one. Freaking I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hit the like button if you liked it. Subscribe to the channel if you guys are new, and catch you guys in the next one. We've got tons and tons of stuff that we're doing. This 8 HP is gonna be crazy. So